These guys ain't got nothing, man. This game is ours. All ours, baby. Yeah.
And he's taking a few shots at the other team already to get his teammates revved up. The Rockets play before the hometown crowd here in downtown Houston, Texas. And the Grizzlies on a single-game road trip here before heading back home. They've been playing very well lately. It's been 4 wins for them in their last 5 games.
Well, for all the talk about them coming into this season, I'm not sure people expected them to be this good. So you'd have to place them, I think, among the favorites to make a run at the NBA championship.
Well, you're not taking any...
If you're just tuning in, we've played about 2.5 minutes here in the first. Harden the pass to Lin. Kicks it to Patterson. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
You know, even from here, you could see that one pretty clearly.
Yep, pretty obvious. And a good call by the official.
Well, Memphis knew that if they wanted to get better as a team, they would have to be better on the road. And even though they still have some work to do, they did make strides in that area last season.
Going back to Memphis, Steve was just talking about Clark a second ago. They made strides, but they still weren't where they ultimately wanted to be. You know, away from home, for instance, just 15 and 18.
But that's still an improvement over what they were the year before. I mean, so you've got to look at progress being made there. They just need to keep the trend moving in the right direction as this franchise continues to try to become one of the elite teams in the Western Conference.
That's kind of a shocker. The defense was there, but it wasn't right in his face. Kind of out of character for him to miss those.
Lin kicks to Harden. Dishes it to Parsons. And it's good. Parsons got his first points in this one.
You know, it's a plus to get good looks in the paint, and when you can get them, you got to score them. Well, Asik wasn't the biggest name on the free agent market, but he was an intriguing one with the way he played for the Bulls last year. It was enough for the Rockets, and they signed him to a pretty hefty deal. You know, that's how you do it, guys. I mean, he passed his way out of the double team and into an easy basket.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Kevin, I had a chance to talk with head coach Lionel Hollins. He said he certainly followed the rise of Jeremy Lin into a prime-time point guard in this league, and he told me we need to try to limit his penetration. That's where he's most effective, slashing and with the drive and kick. Guys, Lin has certainly been working to improve his outside shot, but sometimes you have to pick your poison, and they'll live with him shooting from outside. Back to you.
Always great to hear from you, Doris. .129 left in the first. Delfino kicks to Lin. Over Conley. Another miss by Houston.
Kevin McHale, just one of the funniest people you've ever met. I mean, he has so many stories. That's why he was a good broadcaster. But I think that serves you well as a coach, too. You really need to keep the players entertained. It's such a long, grinding year. I'm sure he cracked a few jokes in that locker room.
Arthur, no good.
Couldn't convert, but nice little two-man game there.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see them go back to that the next trip.
Offensive rebound. Delfino kicks to Lin. He feeds it to Delfino. Second shot opportunity. It's rebounded by Memphis. And Steve, you mentioned Coach Kevin McHale and his great sense of humor. Such a great asset for a coach with all the ups and downs of a season.
Yeah, 82 games, Kevin. I mean, it's such a grind at times. You need somebody to lighten things up. You need a coach who can change things up, keep you off guard a little bit. So that sense of humor of McHale's really comes in handy.
Here's Monty Eunice. Tries to keep it alive. And out of bounds as the Grizzlies gain possession. And the Rockets making a change here. Jones is checked in. We've got 22 seconds left to play in the first. Outside Conley. Down low. Here's Big Daddy. That's in there. Conley with the assist. And now it's a 3-point Grizzly lead. And here is Lynn. He had a 15-point outing in their last game against Philadelphia. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. Rockets have shot 67% from the line tonight, going 4-6.
As a team, they're down there around 72% from the stripe.
Guys.
And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter of play. So on the floor for Memphis. Big Daddy, he's in at center. Gay and Randolph are the forwards. Selby is out there with Tony Wroten. Patterson a screen on Gay. Parsons dishes to Harden. Shot clock at 5. That's good.
A nice piece of work there. Find a little space and pull the trigger.
For the Houston Rockets, they come into tonight following a loss to the Philadelphia 76ers.
And what stands out from that game, Clark, is that they let a lot of points slip through their fingers at the free throw line.
Yep, and I think some doubt started to creep in as well when they kept missing their foul shots. Guys seemed to tighten up and start alligator arming those things.
Now Lynn, 11 points in the game. He dishes it to Harden. Morris. Solid play on the low block, and that one's good. Patterson's got 6 in the quarter.
Well, after a slow first quarter, he's starting to pick it up a bit here.
Now the dish to Wroten. Over Harden. Wroten, no good. Rockets trail by 3. Here's Lynn. Gets the bucket. Lynn's got 13.
You know, for so long and so many years, the Rockets have been built around the dominant center, Kevin, and haven't been a run-and-gun team, an up-tempo team. But last year, under new coach Kevin McHale, they ramped up the pace quite a bit. Excellent job carving out space under the glass to make that putback possible.
The Grizzlies shooting their 6th attempt at the charity stripe in the game.
And you look at the numbers for this season, guys, from the free throw line, they're shooting 77%.
And, guys, that's really an upgrade over how they shot last season. Not a huge upgrade, but an upgrade nonetheless.
Monty Eunice is checked in for Marcus Morris. Back to the Rockets, you see their roster, and they are so athletic. So to make the most of it, they wanted to catch teams in transition a bit more. I thought it was a pretty good way of attacking teams there, Steve.
Yeah, I like what Kevin McHale did a year ago. You know, they finished 3rd in the league in field goals attempted. And so they really tried to attack and force teams to respond to that transition offense. And that's what you have to do, especially when you don't have great half-court superstar players who can take over a game.
Well, that makes 5 of their last 6 makes coming from inside.
Yeah, really focused on getting the ball into the paint because they're taking advantage of very porous defense down there.
Harden up top. He kicks it to Monty Eunice. Back to Harden. Stolen by Allen. Here's Big Daddy. And that one's good. Big Daddy's got 6 in the quarter.
Boy, they are really getting chewed up inside here. I mean, that's 8 of the last 10 points they've given up inside, in the paint.
Yeah, and the paint should be sacred ground for a defense. I mean, you can't let anybody just trot in there and get an easy bucket. Well, when you talk about Tony Allen.
And that concludes the first half. Grizzlies lead by
your
2.
Rockets. 44. And now, brought to you by Sprint.
The weekend.
Now the second half about to. Here's Gay.
Oh, my goodness. What a huge play. Well, he's got the prototypical body of an NBA small forward. He's long, he's lean, he's athletic, he can run the floor. And on top of all that, he's incredibly skilled. Kind of a poor man's Kevin Durant when you think about it.
Yeah, I like that comparison. This guy does an awful lot well offensively, attacks the rim with force, is able to bounce over guys, and has gotten stronger as he's progressed in his career. And the jump shot, virtually unblockable.
Patterson plays down low with the Sheik. Harden out there with Jeremy Lin. And it's Parsons in at the small forward. That's the 5 for Houston right now. And a chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Hi, guys. Big Daddy in their last game against the Mavericks had an off game. He chipped in his share of points and collected 6 huge rebounds to go with that. The iron was quite unkind to him as shot after shot ricocheted off the rim. He'll be looking to have a much better time out this contest, Kevin.
Thank you, Doris. And just not the game he hoped to have, guys.
It sure wasn't. And, you know, to be a winner in basketball or the game of life, it takes experiences like that to cause you to use it as fuel to bring it that much harder the next time. Sometimes you go through that adversity and disappointment. We'll see what he does here.
Well said.
Yeah, and the key is, I think, you have to have the right approach and the right attitude. You have to use the experience, but you have to let go of the emotion. And as long as he's motivated and excited to be out here, he can figure out what to do next and kind of take that next step forward.
Rockets trail by 17. Lin with it. 17 points in the game. Harden up top. Fires the 3. Conley grabs the miss.
They continue to pull down misses, and that's how they're maintaining this lead.
Yeah, well, one and done is the recipe for continuing to hold on to a lead. You don't want to let the other team back in it by giving them extra possessions.
Here's Randolph, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Well, Zach Randolph last year injured his knee in the 4th game of the season and missed about 3.
Here's Parsons. He's got 5. Feeds it to Delfino. Shoots the 3. That's good. Delfino's got 7 points in the game. Here's Conley. Can't get it to go. And here at the end of the 3rd quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. Grizzlies out in front, leading by 17. We'll get right. 4th quarter getting going here. It's time for the Sprite Uncontainable Game. Doris Burke with the report. Hi, Doris.
Hey, Kevin, and our uncontainable game, the Grizzlies.
So on the floor for Memphis. Big Daddy in at center. Tony Allen and Rudy Gay, the 2 wings. Zach Randolph is out there with Conley. They get it again. Big Daddy. And at last, they get one to fall. 4th quarter of play, and we're about 2.5 minutes through it right now. Now, here is Harden from outside the arc, and Parsons gets it to go.
They're simply living and dying from behind the arc in this 2nd half. And I don't think that's the way to go here. They're trailing. The 3-point shot can be used. They've got to balance it out.
Here's Conley, and that one's good.
Can't pass up that kind of look.
And just about 3 minutes through the 4th quarter here. Now Delfino. And the pass to Harden. Covered by Conley. Fades and shoots. Asik the pass to Harden. Patterson. Now the feed to Asik. And it's blocked. A look at the clock. A little under 3.5 minutes gone here in the 4th. Can't get it to go. Good D by Harden. Well, it was the Memphis Grizzlies in their last game, a loss to Dallas.
Well, loss or no loss, that was a fantastic game, Clark. They could be proud of the way they battled at least.
I suppose, but Steve, it still was a really heartbreaking loss. I mean, you hate to lose in overtime. No matter how hard you played, it still leaves you very empty and disappointed when you come up short.
There's the foul. It's on Patrick Patterson. And that'll be his 3rd foul so far.
You know,
Passes it to White. Houston moving it around. Asik kicks to Harden.
Well, last season with the condensed schedule, we saw a lot of college players choose to return to college to avoid the uncertainty. For those who came out, in some ways it was an advantage. They often saw more playing time as coaches looked down their benches because of the condensed schedule. The defense that time didn't do quite enough. I mean, it takes a lot of effort to stop him when he gets in tight.
And the Grizzlies leading by 23. And here is Roten. Out of bounds. Houston takes possession. And you mentioned the valuable playing time for the rookies, Clark. Also, don't forget a lot of journeymen, Steve. Journeyman veteran players took deals abroad.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Guys went to Europe or China and then did not return for the NBA season. So that did open up some minutes for some younger players. And it was fun to watch. We saw some guys have a real impact on the league in their first years. Guys like Irving and Rubio and Fareed, Kawhi Leonard in San Antonio, even Isaiah Thomas, the last pick of the draft. He made a big impact in Sacramento.
Selby. There's the bucket. Good.
Looks like this one's over. They really played well tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we can take it out of the oven. This game is cooked.
Here's Morris. No good on the three.
That's not his shot at all. Way too far beyond his range.
Here's Pondexter. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Well, Houston had an interesting season a year ago, Kevin, because remember they made that trade for Pau Gasol before the season started that was rescinded by the NBA. And then Kevin McHale, who was the first-year coach for the Rockets, he had to mend fences with the guys who were supposed to be involved in that deal. And he obviously did a nice job because the Rockets went on to have an excellent season.
White, he's checked in for the Rockets. And the Grizzlies also with the sub. Terrell Arthur, he's checked in for Zach Randolph. Here's Cook. A three-pointer is right on target.
And the damage they're doing from three-point range here in the second half is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they're always a threat to spray home some threes now, but not like this.
And Houston for so long has had so many great centers, Steve. You're talking about that, you know, post players from Akeem Olajuwon to Yao Ming. They still seem, though, Clark, to be looking for that big man.
Well, the most important thing, Kevin, is that under Kevin McHale, the new coach, they can keep getting...
Here's Selby, guarded by Harden. Pondexter kicks to Arthur, and it's going to be a 3-second call. Here's Cook. So no problem for Memphis as they get the win. Not much to be critical of with this win, Clark.
Not at all. I mean, they showed up not just to play, they showed up to give great effort and to win, and they did both.
And that'll wrap it up for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan, and thanks for tuning in.
Your team breezed the victory this time around. It's got to be nice to get a little break tonight in the midst of a long season with more close games than you'd probably like. Your thoughts?
Man, we just out there doing work, punching the clock, paying the bills. I love it when a team's operating at peak efficiency like this. We like a well-oiled machine, and I'm right in the middle of it all, making it happen. It's games like this that make you realize the level of greatness we have right here. But we ain't even close to our ceiling, man. There's so much more we can do. So much better we can play. The rest of the league better watch out.